What's going on, guys? Crypto Poppy here, and as always, my co-host Benjamin Brand.
What up? What
Benjamin,
up?
how are you doing today, bro?
Oh, I'm not doing too bad. I mean, if you saw last night, obviously things are looking up. So definitely in a good mood today.
That's right, man. It was an unbelievable weekend. I think spurred by feels to me like there's two things that we can give credit to for moving the market in a positive direction and maybe even saving the bull market.
Right.
But the first thing was the ENS token drop. I think that was very, very bullish for a lot of people. I think it created some liquidity in the marketplace. Many people obviously sold and got some ETH. And we're openly talking about, okay, I got some ETH. What should I mint? And the other thing that clearly made a massive difference was when Jimmy Fallon bought his ape. I think that's where everything seemed to have gone pretty bananas. And it was interesting actually that the mutants were the ones that were running really hard at first and still are. I think they've retraced a little bit, but I think the mutants are a much easier way to access the ape community, and I think people started to get FOMO over, oh my God, if I don't get into the mutants now, then
Right. When
this
will
might
I?
be my last chance to get
Yeah.
in a 5 ETH or 6 ETH. So and we all know, right? Like when the market, when something like the apes or the punks pump, because the last really big run, if I remember correctly, was actually it started with the punks and then moved into the apes. But everything sort of flows from blue chips and then into the rest of NFTs, and we're starting to see lots of NFTs are actually doing really, really well on this Monday morning. So pumped
Yeah.
about that.
Yeah. I think with the mutants, right? So you seen like little baby, he ended up transforming his ape into a mutant ape. And then you had Jimmy Fallon. He also tweeted out, I think maybe last night, that he's like, "All right, I'm into these NFTs. Like, I'm looking at the mutants now." And then I think Post Malone ended up buying two last night as well. So it's just like there's so much good things going on for the apes right now. It's like you can't help. I wonder what the Kennel Club's doing, right? Because nobody's really talking about them, but everything else seems to be flying. Anything
100%.
board ape related.
So let's take a look at the market today. And oh shit, not that screen. That is not the screen I wanted to show you guys. Oh gosh. Okay, hold on. I gotta stop. I gotta stop sharing for a second. I meant to show you this one. I think I showed uh, my
That was
wallet.
so quick. I didn't even see it.
All right, good stuff. All right, so market today. Like I said, a lot of good stuff going on. I noticed one of if we look at just the overnight, I noticed one of your top projects is right at the top with Crypto Dads
Nice.
making its way back up. I think it might have gone even a little bit higher, but love to see it. Love to see the Crypto Dads. I still think even at this price, I think they're still way underpriced, to be honest with you. I
Yeah, it was so overblown. I think it was all a timing thing, honestly. Like when they happened to drop the moms the same point that we were going into a bear market. So not only were you getting a drop from getting a companion, but you were also getting a drop from a bear market, and it really kind of tanked them a little bit too hard, I think.
Yeah. What is the Crypto Mom? How are they doing? And what are they called?
They're called crypto moms.
These
Yeah,
guys?
yeah.
What's the floor at for them?
I haven't
All
paid too
right.
much attention to them. Yeah.
0.06. Not bad, not bad. To be honest, I have so many airdropped projects that are like 0.01. So
Yeah.
0.06 is actually not bad. Um so yeah. So Crypto Dad's doing well. What else we got here that catches my attention? I personally love Top Dog Beach Club. I think they add one of the projects that just have ongoing utility. They add games to their game zone all the time. I know, Ben, I introduced you to these, and you bought some of these, and they've still held their value well. Like 0.15 for this market is actually not bad at all.
Yeah, yeah, it's actually higher than when you had talked about them originally. I think when I bought in, it was point 0.1. So
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
not bad at all. One of the ones I got into that's slowly starting to rise again was Fangang. Um, they were at like 0.08 for the longest time, and you know, with this market, we've seen it go up to 0.12, which is pretty good.
Yeah. BYO pills, they're doing well, even though they already did their airdrop, but we got another airdrop coming. I need to check in on that Discord because I know we have another airdrop coming and it's related to holding the pills. And I'm not sure when that is. I think it's like any day now.
Yeah,
So that might be causing the pump there.
our
Um,
Kaiju Kings, man. You see those, right?
bro, yes, man, I've
Wish I
been
would have bought
watching
another
those
one.
this
Apparently,
weekend.
yeah,
Oh my god, I there was a red one, and I love the red Caillou Kings. And there was a red one at 2.9 like 2 days ago, right before all of this started.
yeah.
Like
I saw the red eye too. Like the red eye was near floor, and I thought that was like a more popular one too. That
I
should
regret,
have
I
not
regret
been there.
so much not buying that one. I regret it, man. And I was doing the math this morning. So let's see, actually. Let's see. So for those that are interested in these tokenized, NFTs, let's see. When did I buy my Cailloux? I bought them 24 days ago, the green one, and I think this one was my first one. So this one probably slightly. So a month. Okay, perfect. So in a month, uh, my two Cailloux have generated 2K, $2,000 worth of passive income. I looked at the math today, how many hour waste I have versus the price. I could sell them right now for 2K. So not bad. Not
Yeah, it's
bad for
not
doing
bad.
nothing.
Let me see what I only had one, right? And I probably bought it at the same time you bought the one with the army cap.
Yep.
Um, so I have actually moved some funds out. Oh, so yeah, I mean 1385. So it's point three. So that's
There you
not bad,
go.
right?
Yeah, you bought slightly before me,
Yeah,
so
and I
it was
sold
right before
some
me.
when it was at like the $18 mark
Right.
and stuff. So
So, this so my theory all along, or my thesis with the good ones, the good tokenized NFT projects, so long as OpenSea doesn't take them off the market, because that's still an outstanding risk that I'm always very conscious of. I wouldn't put it past OpenSea to go and basically remove everything like Head DAO, Caillou Kings, Halloween Bears, like all of these tokenized
mutant
projects. I really
cats,
wouldn't.
yeah,
I wouldn't put it past them, and I
right.
wouldn't put it past them to keep Genesis Kongs, and getting greased to keep them. So I don't trust them. I have zero trust for them. So that's always something you guys got to keep in mind. Watch out for that market, because if something like that were to happen, you might want to get out at least your tokens, because you can still sell them whenever you can, and then maybe try to sell on Variable. But what I was going to say is that outside of that happening and OpenSea rugging us, the interesting dynamic that the token creates is that you could see a double pumpage scenario in a bull market. And we're already starting to see that with the Cailloux starting to go up, the token starts to go up.
Starts to go up
It's
as well, yeah.
directly correlated. If I look at, I can show you the charts, but Cailloux went from 2.9 ETH to 4 ETH now, floor, the Genesis. And our waste had been just on a straight shot down. Um, and it seems to have picked up a little. Like it went back up to $8, $9. So keep an eye out on these tokens, because they tend to run up as soon as the NFT gets bullish as well. And Fish has actually made a bigger run up during the mutant cats, which have run up as well. This is back up to 86 cents. So look, it's kind of rebounded after its lows at 52 cents. It's almost up like 80% right now. So
Yeah, it looks good. Yeah, that's one thing I haven't sold at all, right? I haven't sold any fish.
yeah,
Um,
me neither. I know you sold some Arways and it worked out well for
yeah, it
you.
ended up working out. Yeah, yeah,
But my strategy is I'm just literally going to keep accumulating these and accumulating them, and I have no plans to sell them, because I do think if both mutant cats, our waste go on a run, then hey, then these tokens are going to go on a run along with them, and it's like getting double pumpage.
Yeah. The only little regret that I had is when I was talking to you and the other guys on NFT Guys show, when we were kind of putting the Kaiju Kings versus the Mutant Apes. Right, they were right around the same price, probably a couple weeks ago. Like,
Yep.
man, the Mutant Apes look like such a good investment opportunity now. But everything's in retrospect.
Yeah. Hey, look, I sold 2 mutants. One of them to our boy NFT God. And another one I just sold just because I needed liquidity and I regarding my own mutants. I didn't actually expect the mutants to take on their own life form and kind of lead the bull market is what they're doing. Even
Yeah,
more so than the apes. Yes, sure, the apes are selling and everything. But the mutants are insane right now. Like I can't look at my Twitter timeline without seeing 1 billion mutants popping
right,
up.
right. As soon as they did the merch for it, and it was kind of close to what you get with the BAYC merch, right? The MAYC merch.
Yeah.
As soon as they did that, like, I feel like that was kind of the moment that I recognized it, right? Like, okay,
100%.
hey, now it's its own thing. Like, hey, this stuff is just as cool as some of the BAYC stuff. Like, obviously, the only thing I wonder is with the Kennel Club, where does that go, right?
They've been running up too, man. Like,
Yeah,
even though, yeah, there's less reason to, I guess you could say, because the apes, the board apes,
yeah.
I
Like,
mean,
you
look
can
at them.
feel
They're
it with the
already.
board apes, you can feel it with the mutant apes, but then like
I sold a
the Kennel
dog
Club is
last night by mistake. I had no idea I had a dog up for sale. It must have been like so long ago and it's sold. I'm like, what is this? Why did I even have it up for sale? But they're still running up. So, and I think these are running up in anticipation of
something.
details that don't exist today and what it could mean to own a dog in the future. But the mutants, like, they're legitimized in that people have gotten pretty much the same utility out of a
Mhm.
mutant than they have a bored ape, especially those that were in NFT NYC. So we'll see, man. We'll see. Hey, look, we've got a very special guest today on the show. We are so pumped to bring you Cordy, who Ben and I have been on live streams with before. And if you haven't met Cordy, you don't know Cordy, this dude he just knows what's going on, man. He's got his ear to the ground. And in particular, one thing that we haven't talked too much about on the show are NFTs on other blockchains outside of ETH. And I think that we really all need to start paying a lot more attention to what's happening on other blockchains, such as Solana, Flow, BTC, and maybe Cordy's got some other alpha that we don't know about. But
Yeah.
having said that, oh, he just went. He just turned off his screen. So let's give him a second. He's backstage right now, so I'll wait till he turns the screen back on, and we'll bring him back on.
2017.
That's
This man
right.
got an NFTs on 2017.
So
That's
Cordy
amazing.
tells us that he bought his first NFT in 2017, which is absolutely bonkers. That's when I bought my first crypto. So I had no clue at the time that NFTs even existed.
I was mining coins back in 2013, right? Just random ones, diversifying. And it was kind of nice because I had totally forgot about them, right? And then one of my buddies that I had worked with had brought up, he's like, "Oh man, have you seen the Dogecoin? Like Doge is going up." And then I'm like, "Oh man, I got to go back and look at that and see exactly what it was." So I ended up having like a not a ton, but enough to actually like be worth something, right? I think I end up having like $2,000 worth or something like that, which, well, for mining for nothing is actually amazing. So
yeah. All right, guys, let's bring him up. Cordy, what is going on, man? How are you?
Hey, how you guys doing? Give me one
Good.
second. Setting everything up. Problem. Do you guys hear me now?
Yep.
All right, perfect. Bob,
doing
how's
this
everything,
Monday?
guys? How's everything?
Good.
You guys hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. Yep.
All right,
Yeah,
great.
man. We're good, brother. We're having a good time this Monday. It's feels like the market has rebounded in some ways, and so we haven't had anything to celebrate for at least a couple weeks until yesterday. I hadn't sold an NFT in 2 weeks, so that says enough.
Strong hands right there.
So what? So what do you look, man? Like, so when we introduced you, we talked about you just seem to have your ear to the ground with all of the up and coming stuff. It feels like we're playing in like the current market, but you're constantly looking at what's coming, what's going to be here 3 months, 6 months down the road. So let's
Oh yeah.
start with sort of like kind of introduction to yourself and a little bit of a spiel on what you're looking at these days.
Oh yeah. So basically, I got invested. I started in NFTs around 2018. It was around like I think like March 2018. Since then, and I started around like experimenting with like this blockchain layer 2 called Loom Network,
Hey,
and it
sorry,
was just
sorry to interrupt you, Cordy. Your mic is very robotic.
that sounds robotic. One
Yeah.
second. Yeah, I had an issue with it once. I'm gonna have to use my other mic if this keeps going. Keeps
Yeah,
cutting
it's
off.
very, very staticky.
All right. All right. Give me like 2 minutes. I'm gonna use my other mic. I have a better one that I could use.
Okay. So yeah, have you Ben, what Solana projects are you in right now?
So I have the dad's one. I end up getting out of the Goblin one. And then I'm still looking at that Nyan Heroes. So I know we talked about that
Yep.
before. They were giving some of their excess to VC, people who had invested in their project. But it sounds like they ended up giving them to them at a certain cost. So it wasn't like a complete like, hey, here's these for free. So I've been keeping my eye on that one. That's one that maybe we could get some, input from what Cordy thinks about those as well.
Yeah. So Nyans are revealed now. I hadn't noticed.
Yep.
And they trade on Solana art as well, or just
Yep.
Magic?
Yeah. So they're on Magic Eden. They're on Solana Art, and I think they're on what's that other one? NTX.
Okay.
So
All right. Well, I'm looking at Magic Eden, and they're well below mint price. Yes, these are expensive. 4.9 Sol is really expensive for a Solana project, and but mint price was 6 Sol, so everybody knows. So there's a few under mint price, not that many actually.
Well, the people who had got in early had got in for 3 Sol, right? So you're kind of seeing like an in between of those two.
Yeah, that's right.
So pre-sale got in
Which
a
we
little bit
anticipated.
cheaper.
That's one of the problems with rewarding early holders with cheaper prices is that they'll tank your floor every single time. If you give it to them cheaper, like if they have an opportunity to make 100% gains, they're gonna take it. Like most flippers will, including me, by the way.
Right. Right. When you look at a lot of the projects, it seems like, if they're not A-list or something like that, then they seem to drop pretty well right away from Solana projects in general.
Yeah.
So
I noticed my Bone World are way down as well.
So what were those minting at?
One. So
okay.
they've been hovering, and they hovered around 1 for a long time. They maybe fell down to like 0.9. This is the lowest I've seen them. I've actually got a Twitter Spaces tonight at 6 p.m. Eastern if anybody's interested, with the founder of Bone World, and I've had him on my YouTube channel before if you want to go back and check that out. This is definitely one of my favorite projects on Solana.
Yeah, and I did make a little bit off of Pesky Penguins, and that was probably the only time that with a Solana NFT that I've done really well with it. But I don't know. It might just be something where they just don't have enough people in the ecosystem yet.
I also have Nasty Boys, and whoa, these are not doing well. Wow, they're like 0. This is like a project I consider like has gone to 0 because I think I bought in at like 0.5.
Yeah, is that the one that gives you like, I don't know, 10 airdrops or something like that?
Yes.
Right.
And the airdrops, I don't even I couldn't. Oh, there we go. They're finally on here. They're 0.05. This was the airdrop. So yeah, not going well. Not going well for these
Great,
dudes.
perfect. You guys hear me now? It should be.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Great. So I have my other mics. It should be no
Oh yeah,
problem.
that sounds great.
So, anyways, you guys have a question with this exchange, right, on Solana? Well, you said something called Magic Eden, right?
Yeah, no, we were just looking at some of the projects that we're part of on the Solana infrastructure. I know you're really big on Solana, but before we dive into any of them, tell us a little bit about you and your background.
Oh yeah. So basically, I graduated college around 2017. I went to Rutgers University, and as soon as I graduated, I got into cryptocurrency, and then I found NFTs around. So I got I dove deep into NFTs around 2018, early 2018. Um, I was using blockchains like Neo and all other types of blockchain. And the main thing that really helped me learn about NFTs was blockchain gaming. There was a site, this layer two solution called Loom Network. It's probably a dead chain now, but it was supposed to be thematic. That's what Polygon was supposed to be, basically. But Loom didn't work out the way it planned. But their articles helped me out, to basically get the grasp of how NFTs should be. And they mentioned basically interoperability, multiple blockchains working together side by side to to basically help one another out. And so I've been exploring multiple blockchains since then. I started with Ethereum, I got into Neo, then from Neo to others like Phantasma, and then I saw Polygon, but I was hesitant on Polygon because I was so I was still salty about Loom not doing what they're supposed to, and then Polygon took their place, and now you guys know what Polygon is now, right? The Loom was supposed to be what Polygon is now. And then, so I hesitated on investing in Polygon. That's one of my biggest investment regrets, not putting enough in Polygon. This is because I
When you
was
say
still
investment in Polygon, though, do you mean Polygon NFTs or Polygon like Matic
no
coin?
the coin, the token,
Okay.
yes.
Yeah.
The token, yeah. So there were two layer two solutions back then that I knew of, and before it was Loom Network, and then they had to focus on gaming. I learned a lot from them, but then Polygon came around, and I was like, oh, what is this crap? It's try to copy Loom exactly how they had the same ideas, and so I was hesitant on that investing into it. But then I got into Axie Infinity around like late 2018, basically, and back then Axie Infinity was it was just horrible because what we did last, back then, you guys had no idea how horrible it was to actually get into blockchain gaming because every transaction you had to pay for. So imagine everything you do, you pay a fee, basically. But Ethereum fees weren't as much back then. But imagine now how bad it would be, where if you have to like breach something, you pay that fee. But that was, back then they were mostly in browsers. So you connect your MetaMask wallet to these games, and every move you make in the game will be an Ethereum gas fee. And that was a huge issue. That was a huge barrier to entry. And some games now they've incorporated a system where they could be run on the blockchain, but there's no fees within every single transaction. And then they've got involved where they're now implementing Polygon into their network. And then but the most important thing I want to talk about now though is what's happening with the metaverse. So the metaverse, have you guys heard of Decentraland? Mark Zuckerberg actually he changed his company's names to Meta because they want to focus in the around the metaverse. But what's interesting is that we're starting with the metaverse, and I believe everything's gonna take place in the metaverse and then grow out into the real world. So all eyes is we're seeing what's gonna happen. The things that's gonna happen with the economy. We have to see what happened with Axie Infinity and all these blockchain gaming because they're going to incorporate the perfect system for civilization just within these worlds. So you're going to see games being built within these metaverses. So there's this platform called Decentral Games, DECNTRAL. Wait, excuse me, guys. But 1 second, I might need some water. I've been talking for like 10 minutes straight. 1 second, I might need some water.
No worries.
Just talking.
Guys, he's talking and listen to every single thing he says, man. Rewind it, listening to it again. Cordy has a ton of alpha and a lot of credibility. He's earlier into the NFT space than anybody I've ever met before. And, I'm sure that, while it may have been painful to deal with Ethereum gas fees for blockchain gaming, I'm sure Cordy would agree that there was still an insane amount of knowledge that he learned by actually being involved in the space. Period. Which is sometimes, when you're early, right, you're not going to always benefit financially, but you'll certainly benefit from information. But
That's
anyways,
definitely true. There's so many great projects that I know of, right? They were amazing. I remember this one game. It was called Relentless, and then they changed the name to no, it was called Zombie Battleground back then, right? And then they changed the name to Relentless. And there's this game that was on Loom. It was the competitor to Gods Unchained. It was this other card game, and I'm like, yo, I don't like Gods Unchained. I like Relentless, and Relentless. They already had an app and everything. That was 2018, guys. They had an app. Everything was fully made. The app was in the Apple Store, the Android store. It was 2018, but it looked amazing. But guess what happened, guys? The game shut down. There was no demand, and that's the hurtful. That's the bad thing about being too early and being too good, where it's like, yo, there's not enough funding to support you in the beginning. Even though there were some great projects back then, they were just like, hey, is my mic getting blurred?
a little bit. No,
Okay.
your mic is good. Your camera got a little blurred.
Okay. I have so many technical issues, so even though, right, even though this what was I saying? So basically, you've seen all this progress, and back then it was very difficult to succeed because no one was playing these blockchain games, and nobody knew about them. And now we've seen a lot of there's a lot of projects out there right now that are a lot of them are just hype because if you go back to like some old games, like this game called Coins and Steel that was on Loom Network, this project literally it looked phenomenal, but it died out too because it was too early. It was way too early, and then there was no demand for that game at that time. And I remember the first, if you guys ever heard of Star Atlas, right?
Yeah.
Star Atlas, that's basically this amazing looking game on Solana. They try to build like this whole space galaxy type of world, and you guys know what the first space exploration game is called? It's called Crypto Galaxy, and that game it looked great back then, but it had I'm talking about this was 2018, and Crypto Galaxy was running on. It started out on Neo blockchain, and then it moved to its own blockchain called Zpin. So this one project, they created their own blockchain out of Neo and created Zpin chain. And this was back then, 2018. The fees were very minimal, and but then this was the first space exploration game, Crypto Galaxy, and there you could have planets and you could earn stones and all this stuff. And then there were robots that worked inside these planets to earn you. And I'm talking about this is 2018, and but it died out too. So it showed you how wow, but then seeing all these projects. And going back, you basically get to see. You have a whole vision of what's happening because just seeing what happened in 2021, you can't really get a bigger picture of what will come in the future. What will happen with NFTs in the long run. So if you look from 2018 to 2021, you'll know that wow, everything has to be everything has to be from one chain to another, right? We need cross chain. We need blockchains working together. That's the ultimate future. And so you're going to be seeing multiple metaverses and multiple NFTs hopping from Ethereum to Bitcoin. And that's what I've talked about today, Bitcoin NFTs, because those are going to be very valuable. Because if you guys don't know, there's Miami coin and there's New York coin. And those coins are run on Bitcoin. And that's Stacks. Stacks was originally called Blockstack. And that was the first crypto that was basically that received, SEC, like they were verified by the SEC. They had everything, they basically dealt with all those issues. And so those guys, they are working with, they're working with Miami, they're working with New York, they're working with, Nigeria and Philadelphia. But those are run on Bitcoin. So you're seeing all these other chains working together. And my whole thing is that there's going to be a very big need for the digital world. If you guys follow Axie Infinity, right? Axie Infinity is this game I got into around 2018, And regretfully, I sold a lot of my land on Axie Infinity to get into NBA Top Shot. I still made money from Top Shot. Top Shot. I'm a top 1% account holder on Top Shot. But still, I still, I'm still a little sad about selling my land because these lands, when I was buying these, these little lands back then, right? They're going for like $100, right? $100 to like $200. And then I remember like the most expensive piece of land was the Genesis land, right? On Axie Infinity, and it was going for like 5,000, and I was like, that's too expensive. I don't want that. The cheapest Genesis land right now is going for $2 million on Axie Infinity. you see the insane. I'm like, wow. I thought it was too expensive, and then so you basically learn from your lessons as well. You learn from your lessons. You see what happened, and then so I use what I learned from Axie Infinity to get into NBA Top Shot, and then now I'm looking at other blockchains, and like I said, everything's gonna be cross-chain, so we have to look at other blockchains to see what's being built, because at the end of the day, we're all gonna come together, to basically, become something in the Web 3.0. And so I've been exploring the Bitcoin blockchains, and so far I've been exploring RSK. RSK is basically a side chain to Bitcoin, and RSK is interesting because I've been following this project since around 2019 actually. I remember like I flew over to Hong Kong for a Bitcoin conference in Hong Kong. It was Token 2049. I flew to that in Hong Kong around 2019, and I was talking to people about RSK. I was like, "Yo, guys, there's a platform out there that allows you to actually create apps on Bitcoin." They're like, "You're crazy. What are you talking about?" And I sounded so crazy because people still don't know that you could build apps on top of Bitcoin. And recently, Bitcoin had this amazing update, the Taproot update, that makes it easier to create smart contracts on top of it. So now it's even more possible to build on top of Bitcoin. But before it was just like impossible. People didn't know that this could happen. And what happens? Bitcoin is the most secure blockchain in the world. So that's where governments are going to go. And so I got into RSK, and those guys are. It's not really a token. It's a sidechain, right? They have a token. They have a RBTC, which is RSK's Bitcoin.
Cordy, is it the one I have there? And it's www.rifos.org.
Yes, that's the one right there. RF.
Put that in the comments for people. By the way, your mic just started to get staticky again. Ben, do you hear that?
Yeah, I hear it a little
How about that? Do you hear
bit. I think it's only when he talks too. It comes out for some reason.
How about now? Is it good?
Yeah, it's still staticky.
Let me turn it off and back on. All right.
There we go.
Is it good now?
Yeah.
All right, perfect. I turn off the echo cancellation thing. Perfect. All right. What was I saying?
So RSK, which I linked. Let me take you. So let me take you a step back for a sec. So right now, in terms of the blockchains that I know of that have NFTs on them are Ethereum, Solana, BTC, not BTC, through Stacks, Flow, Cardano. I'm not really.
It's not there yet.
I didn't think so. So where are you spending your time right now? Is BTC like your next big bet?
Oh yeah. So right now my bets are on Flow blockchain 100%. I love Flow blockchain. I was hesitant to get into more Flow applications because they had they restricted U.S. citizens. That was a huge barrier to entry. But now everyone could buy Flow, that lives in the U.S. And everything on Flow is so smooth. Like they actually released you can actually go to Rarible now. So Rarible is an exchange that wasn't Ethereum. It's currently now running on Flow blockchain. And if you log in using Blockto, this simple login with your email and password, you could create an NFT on Flow using Rarible with no gas. And I was like, wow. So Flow's doing a lot. They started out with NBA Top Shot, and then now they're doing things with Dr. Seuss, and then also the UFC. They have plans with the NFL. So I'm a huge fan of Flow blockchain. And this other project that came out on Flow blockchain, it was called Ballers, BALLERZ. And I believe this PFP project is going to be, it's this pixelated image of basketball players, and they have like 40 different teams. It looks amazing. Like the community is just massive.
I'm noticing everyone changing their PFPs to these little blurry pixelated ballers. And I love pixel art too. Like I feel like pixel art has so much history with crypto that you can't go wrong. And so they have 40 different teams and people are in different groups. I believe ballers on Flow blockchain will be the PFP for NBA Top Shot investors. Because remember, it
Yeah,
started out with NBA Top Shot.
what I really love about ballers. By the way, I'm echoing through your speakers, Cordy, when I talk. What I really love about ballers, what I've noticed is that the NBA Top Shot community before ballers didn't really and I'm generalizing, of course. There's a lot. I am the NBA Top Shot community as well. I'm heavily invested in it, but I would say that there were many people who did not transition to PFPs and stopped at NBA Top Shot and didn't really get what we were doing and why we bought apes and all that other stuff. And I'm seeing now many of them being very vocal that ballers finally gives them an understanding of why PFPs are so important. And Cordy, like I think one of the things you're alluding to, like which I really think is like it's almost like every blockchain will have a flagship PFP project. You know, Ethereum has the apes and the punks. You could argue which one is more flagship in the long run, but it's clear that Ballers has given NBA Top Shot community an identity that they can wear and they can represent themselves with in the metaverse. And I love that it's done that for them. You're on mute.
Also, what's great about Balls is right is that it was the first ever NFT outside of NBA Top Shot that allows you to purchase with your Dapper balance. So that made it very interesting. So that meant that people who knew nothing about crypto could actually go to the website to buy Ballers with the debit card or the balance they had on the NBA Top Shot account. So it was an easier way to get more people that remember NBA Top Shot introduced a lot of people into crypto. But then now they're gonna show them into more, they're gonna get them more into the deeper PFP world and all the craziness with crypto. So it's literally bringing a lot more people outside from NBA Top Shot into the crypto world, and Ballers is gonna be a very great project. And
And by the way, there's only 10,000 of them. So there's we're gonna need, and the NBA Top Shot community, you could argue, is 300,000 people. So we're gonna need a lot more PFPs on Flow in the future.
yes, for sure. And then so definitely Flow, and the other blockchain I'm looking at is definitely Solana. I've been talking about Solana a whole lot, and Solana is very very fast. I've used something on Solana recently, right? This DEX called Radium, and so Radium is just like Uniswap, right? It's a DEX on Solana, and you can tell you what the fees were to swap from one crypto to another under. It was literally like it was 0.001 cents, and I'm like, if this was Ethereum, I would have been paying 150.
Did you say 0.001 cent?
Yes, and I'm like, if this was Ethereum, I've been paying like 150 right now.
At least.
Yes, and mind you, you can't say there's no volume in Solana because a lot of projects they started perfectly until there's a lot of traffic, then they start slowing down. But Solana has the volume to back it up, so you can't say, oh, it's just getting started. And the best part about Solana, right, is that the mainnet is in beta. So we haven't seen the official mainnet. We haven't seen the official product yet. So I'm very bullish on Solana, and because like I mentioned in the last stream when I was here on Twitch, they're going to be doing a lot of things with Audience, which is the biggest platform for music at the moment on the blockchain. So you're going to be seeing a lot of things happen with music on the Solana ecosystem. So if you're into music, definitely look into Solana to see what's happening there, because that's where the biggest music NFTs might come out from. And so the other blockchain I've been looking at is Stacks, STACKS. They were originally called Blockstack. And what's interesting about Stacks, right, is they have Miami Coin and they have New York Coin, and those are running on the Bitcoin network.
So when you say that, just for clarification, is that like the equivalent of an ERC20 token, but on the BTC network?
What? Yes.
When you say Miami Coin.
Yeah, so they're using City Coins, which is a platform that's running on Stacks that's supporting the Bitcoin, that's supported all on the Bitcoin network. So because See, city coins. What city coins does is that it creates different coins for multiple cities. It's starting out with Miami coin, starting, and then they're doing stuff with New York coin, and then next up Philadelphia, and mind you, everything is getting mined on the Blockstack network. And
This is so how do so is there is there a marketplace for BTC related NFTs?
yes, that's what I want to mention. So there's two marketplaces that I want to talk about. One is called Stacks Art. That's my favorite marketplace at the moment. STACKSART.
Okay, got it.
Stacks Art is where I go to buy my favorite BTC NFT projects. And the other one is STX NFT. That's another one. It's not as popular as Stacks Art. Stacks Art is right now, you could say it's still early, but it's the open sea of Stacks at the moment. And my favorite projects on there is Megapon. It's this ape project. They are amazing. I like what they're blowing everybody out the picture. If you slide down, be able to see them. Stacks Art. They're gonna pop up when you slide all the way at the bottom for trending. See that project right there? It's called Megapon Ape Club.
Ape Club. Pixel, okay.
Yes, yes. And this project is phenomenal. They're building their own world they're building their own metaverse for this universe of apes. It started out with around, I think it's like 2,500 of these apes. And then every ape is a pass for a free mint in the future.
How much is the STX?
Right.
STX is like 234 right now. So right now the minimum price for these apes are I think around 1,000 STX. So like 2,300 at the moment.
$2,300. Okay.
Yes,
USD.
yes.
Okay.
And then
Cool.
there's just so many, and then you feel like an early NFT investor just being on here because nobody's doing it as big as these NFTs on Stacks, because that's where most NFTs are on BTC are at the moment. They're on Stacks. So Miami Coin even released their own NFTs on Stacks as well, where you pay using Miami Coin, and it's used to support causes within the Miami art, the Miami art, district and all that stuff. So it's crazy because like you have this, and then it's building applications for these city coins as well, all on top of Bitcoin, secured by Bitcoin.
So what's the NFT that Miami Coin released?
That 1304 was creepy. Did you see that? If you scroll down, like
Let me
30.
see, let me see.
Keep going. Right there.
Oh my
1304.
Oh yeah.
Oh my god.
These are sick. I mean, this is really good quality pixel art. If you're just looking at, I don't know what the utility of the project is, but you could see this doing well on Ethereum.
Yeah, he said free mints in the
Yeah, for
future.
the next apes in the future, or the next project. They have a robot coming out in the future. So you can get like a robot ape in the future.
So do these guys live in Discord as well? Like I can find like a.
Oh yes,
corresponding
they're on Discord. That's the problem with a lot of these NFT projects on Stacks at the moment. They're so early. I don't think a lot of them know how to market themselves. That's why this project really stood out to me, because they were on Discord, they were on Twitter, they were out there. They are promoting themselves. Some of them don't even have Discord. I'm like, what are you guys doing? You need Discord to be a successful NFT project.
Very cool. So what's the NFT that Miami Coin has?
Can you go back to the front page if it pop up? I can't remember the name exactly. Should pop up under there. I can't remember the name. I forgot the name of it. Because like there were multiple that were released.
Okay. Very cool though. This I've never seen this marketplace, so this is definitely something new that I need to take a look at. So it's Stacks Art and which one?
STX NFT.
And then is there a preference as far as when you're transferring to Stacks?
For wallet?
Yeah. Well, not even wallet, but just what site would you use to convert?
Like to buy Stacks and stuff.
Yeah, like if you're going to transfer Ethereum to Stacks.
Oh yes. So you get Stacks on crypto.com, but you can get Stacks on KuCoin. It's in multiple places.
Okay.
I'm just surprised that it's not on Coinbase yet, because Stacks is doing really well. because the 8 projects so far has surpassed $1 million in value, and it's only been here for like 10 days, like 10 or 12 days, and that's on a new NFT. Stacks came out with NFTs only a few months ago, so that's really big.
Wow, this is really early.
Yes.
Like a few months ago. That's insane. Any projects that are not out that you got an eye on this platform?
So far, I've been because that so far there's only 2 projects that I've been looking at the moment. Because it's still early, so you have to really be careful and not invest in BS. So
Yeah.
right now, I've been only looking at 2 projects. So go back to the other page. It's called Explorers Guild. Explorers Guild right there. Right there. That one. That's one at the right there. Right there. Right there. Yep. And this project is doing something where if you own this NFT, you get a free membership to this newsletter type of platform called I think it's called Steagles, and this platform pays you in Bitcoin. So having these NFTs, you get a membership to a newsletter, and I've never seen that before. And this is all running on Bitcoin network. So that's my other favorite project on there, and I've been focusing on those 2 at the moment.
So you mentioned the crypto.com.
Yeah.
Now, you see the ads on TV, whether it's through the, NFL games or whatever it is, like you're seeing them pop up everywhere. Now, what do you think about their NFT marketplace that's coming up?
I think they already have
Okay.
NFT marketplace, right? But it's not doing well. There's not much traffic at the moment for the NFT. I remember the Boss Logic. Those have been a liquid on there, and that was like the first NFT. So I'm hoping they do well with NFTs, but they haven't gotten a lot of traffic yet on that.
Same with Binance. What are your thoughts on Binance? I never actually ventured into their marketplace. What are they even selling over there?
Yeah, a lot of them was like it's because people still hesitant. Cause, it started out with like people just like being degens. They want to be they still want to be they still want to be themselves somewhere and not have to apply any identity checks and do any of that. So they still want to avoid that, and just doing that, it's a whole barrier. You have to sign up and you have to put your identity, and there's a whole issue with taxes and NFTs, and that scares people away as well.
Sushi Swap's the other one that's coming up pretty soon too, right?
Yeah, but the best I've seen so far with like bringing NFTs to like the mainstream has been Nifty Gateway. They've been phenomenal with that.
Really? I haven't used it much.
Yeah.
They had a problem with sorting early on, right? They would just list every single project.
Yes, because they actually have you could buy Bored Apes in there with no gas fees. You can actually go there and pay with your debit card and buy a Bored Ape.
Nice.
So they have a couple collections. They have cool cats on there and everything. And there's no gas fees. So they've been doing a very good job in breaking NFTs to people who don't want to deal with all this.
That's the platform I originally used when I got into NFTs from coming from NBA Top Shop.
Oh yeah, I remember you were a big Nifty guy. That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I remember it was Top Shot and Nifty Gateway. Like they were like the 2 that were bringing in the hype for NFTs. It's all about being easy to use when it comes to these.
This is the Winkler twins, right?
Oh yeah, yes. So they bought. It's so funny because like it's 2 twins. It's twins that own it, and then the twins actually bought it from the twins.
Your mic's gone wonky again, and we're all echoing.
Oh, you guys! Oh my god.
So maybe mute yourself for a sec. I'll ask this question as to kind of a way to wrap this up. By the way, like this has been a lot of alpha guys, so pay attention. I'll mute Cordy for a sec just so I can talk without an echo. But so I think Cordy's saying something that's really interesting, and that is where he envisions a world where there's where these platforms sort of come together in the metaverse. So I want to ask you, Cordy, like I'm curious about that. Like, do you ever see a world where I can transfer an Ethereum NFT to another blockchain, or where I can play a game on like you talked a lot about interoperability. So what does interoperability mean? Like, what are the scenarios that you see playing out in the future? Yeah, I'd love to know that from you.
But yeah, you see what's happening with Rarible. Rarible is moving from Ethereum. They're supporting Flow blockchain, and then you're seeing Flow blockchain. They have support for Ethereum, so you can go back and forth. And then OpenSea has options for Polygon, and some other blockchains, and then they have Ethereum as well. And then even Solana, they have a bridge. You could bridge NFTs from Solana. You're using this tool from Solana. You could bridge an NFT from there to Ethereum. So there's always a need for these bridges because at the end of the day, it's all about connectivity. And then why I want to end with today, guys, is remember the whole thing about see what happened with ENS, right? Ethereum name service. The what's gonna bring everyone together is metaverse, right? But then at the end of the day, the most important thing is blockchain domains, and blockchain domains are probably the most important thing in the Web 3.0, the most number one thing in the Web 3.0 because. Like I mentioned in the last stream, is that you're going to need these domains to work, to have an ID within the metaverse, to have basically have them as passports, to basically do anything to prove an identity of something, to prove you own something, to prove that you have this and that to use for your username, to use to like take out loans, and then it becomes an identity layer. And then these metaverses, you're gonna have to build an identity within these metaverses, even as a company or as an individual. And then, so blockchain domains are the most important thing for the Web 3.0. And then there comes like the metaverse, like digital land, like you know, that's important as well. Decentraland, all the digital universes are very important. And then these universes are all going to be in multiple blockchains. So you got Decentraland, but you're gonna have like a matrix. There's a matrix type of project. I forgot what it's called exactly. It's called Matrix World inside of Flow, where it's gonna be a Decentraland inside of Flow blockchain called Matrix World. And then so you're gonna be able to hop on from Decentraland into Matrix World. That's a whole different chain. But then you're gonna need an identity or a blockchain domain name for each of these, of these universes or these worlds. So it's getting crazy to a point where you're gonna be hopping back and forth from multiple, locations and using all these domains for all types of things.
So, Cordy, and your mic is really going south now. But interesting. So that's something I haven't looked at all. So I've registered my ENS name. I hope nobody watching here tries to front run me on some of the other blockchains, but I better start paying attention. So you're saying, like, for example, I know Solana does because I've heard people talking about Solana having the ability to register .sol domain names. And the other blockchains, they have this available as well. Like, does BTC have that and Flow?
Oh yes. So Flow has blockchain domains. If you guys don't know about, the website is Flows.org. That's a Twitter name. I forgot the website. I think it's called Flows. So just look up what's it called? mynft.io/Flows.
Yeah, I found the website Flows.org.
Because if you go to Flows.org, you can't buy it there, and you'll be confused. So you'll have to go to mynft.io/Flows, and that's how it pop up.
Got it. mynft.io. Oh, what was it? mynft.
.io.
Just mynft.io.
Let me see if it pops up on mine. I think that's the website.
I'm gonna mute Cordy for a sec. So, all right. Well, we'll definitely add because I'm really interested in this. I definitely need to start paying attention to domain names outside of ENS, and we also the huge benefits that we got on ENS. So it wouldn't be inconceivable that that whoever's creating these blockchain domain platforms on Flow, on BTC, on Solana, that maybe someday they release a token too. That's purely speculative, but regardless, you want to secure your identity now while it's early, and maybe speculate on some other people's identities. Not mine. Don't you dare go buy mine.
And yes, so it's mynft.io/FLOWNS. And then basically you can go in there and you pick up a Flow blockchain name. I remember, so it's funny because they have some that they have for themselves. So they have Roham and they have Genies. They keep those for themselves. Obviously, I'm pretty sure people want to snipe up Roham or something and hit the front on him for no reason. So they kept that for themselves, and then they're probably gonna give it to Rowan as a gift because he deserves it. He's been phenomenal. He's built up a wonderful project, and his team's been great. Even though it's been up and down with Indian Top Shot, but I'm just so bullish on that project and so bullish on Flow.
All right. So I'm gonna mute you there. Sorry, Cordy, your mic has actually gotten to the point where it's super staticky, very difficult to hear you. So I'm gonna mute you, and that sort of wraps up the show. So to summarize, guys, like, listen, this is this is a this is an episode you want to watch and rewatch, and pay attention to what this man is saying. If you are only on NBA Top Shot, it's time you start to go out into Ethereum. If you're only on Top Shot and Ethereum, it's time you start to look at other blockchains. For example, Solana, Flow, BTC. I'm gonna make sure that I at least dabble in all of them. And like Cordy suggested before, like maybe this isn't all about making money, because when you're early, that means that some things are just destined to fail. But it's the information that you're getting by being early in the space. If you want to catch the next potential apes on another blockchain, which I'm gonna tell you, man, these ballers could be it for Flow. But if you want to catch those opportunities, then you've got to be involved and understand the different marketplaces, the different projects that are coming up. There's no other way to make it in this space if you're not grinding it. And you don't have to spend a lot of money to grind it. So but pay attention to things that are happening outside of just the Ethereum and the NBA Top Shot world, because there's a lot of really good knowledge that Cordy's explained here. Any final thoughts from you, Ben, before we let Cordy give his final thoughts?
No, just diversifying is never a bad thing, right? I mean, if you go to any stockbroker or anything like that, that's what they're going to tell you to do. So, obviously, looking at these different markets and being early is, how a lot of these influencers or people that made money have made money. So,
But how's the mic now? Is it still staticky?
You're better, but we're still echoing a lot when we talk. We've got to wrap up anyway. So Cordy, give us your final words.
All right. So, but before I end it, right, I want to say so after a few years, right, of me looking through everything, the biggest thing to look at is RSK and RSK blockchain domains. And I have that. There's a link right there. You guys probably put in, and that's a system. That's a sidechain that's currently working in El Salvador right now. It's a sidechain to Bitcoin. It's like Stacks, but there's a lot more security on RSK, and it's even more decentralized than Stacks. But there's not NFTs being built like that on there. Just the only NFTs there are like the domains, and some of them are there, but it's not any traffic going on there for NFTs. But right now they are in El Salvador, and they're planning on basically creating a stable coin for El Salvador, running on the Bitcoin network. So definitely look at RSK, because they have some big plans as well. And it's very, very early, because there's barely any apps even on there. There's only a few like Sovereign and others, but Sovereign is the SOVRYN is the biggest one, and it has gotten the most traffic. It's a DeFi application on RSK.
Nice. Awesome, man. Well, look, dude. Thank you so much for stopping by. I think you just really seem to be ahead of the times, and I think this is maybe one of the most important episodes Ben and I will do over the next while, because we're definitely going to start to pay a lot more attention to what's happening outside of the world that we live in. And I like to be super early to things. I'm a little bit of a risk taker, so why not? But most importantly, just from being able to learn and know what's kind of hot, what's up and coming. So guys, I'll put the links of everything that Cordy talked about down in the description. Thank you so much for stopping by. Checking out now. Peace.
thanks.